Let's talk today about insurance claims. When you have a claim, we say that over 80% of the people that we work for on the insurance claim side, it's their first and only claim on their home or real estate. When you work with a company like Crew, so it looks like customer, Crew, then the insurance company and the adjuster. The reason for that is we are familiar with the insurance process. Clearly, we do this every day, so we speak the same lingo that the adjuster speaks, the same documentation that they need for the insurance claim. We make it very simple for the customer. We negotiate the entire process, and then once we have negotiated that process, then we're ready to start on the reconstruction. Now, this is multifaceted. So let's start with a fire at your home. Let's say you had a smoke claim. You left the beans on your stove and you forgot about them, went to bed. Okay, so you had smoke throughout your entire house. Let's use a scenario like that because that's one that's not that terrible. Okay, so you've got smoke throughout your entire house. So what will happen is you call in Crew. We come in, assess everything. Now, the biggest problem with that is everything smells like smoke. Your clothes, everything. So our first protocol, get 1 week's worth of clothes out of the home, clean them immediately, get them back to you as fast as possible. Next day, always. If we can get them back to you that day, we will get them back to you ASAP. So that's the first step. Then we go in and assess the damage. Now, a lot of times, right where the stove was, there'll be some fire damage potentially or whatnot. But if not, we'll assess the damage, figure out exactly. We floor plan the home, which is literally we have a digital tool that we walk around the home and it gives us a floor plan of your home, a blueprint, let's say. So we have exact square footages and everything. This is so simple. It takes minutes now for us to document the floor plan on an existing home. It's great. So once that happens, we take all the necessary pictures, all the documentation that's needed for the insurance company. Now, one thing that is happening in the industry is just like everyone else, just like every other industry, costs are going up. Okay. So with those costs going up, the insurance companies are doing two things: eliminating some adjusters. Now, the reason for that is simple. It's reduced cost, but also they feel like if you're working with a reputable contractor that's familiar with the claims process, they can do it with a desk adjuster that's in a different state completely. It's not there. They don't even need to see foot, on the ground. They can do it through our pictures and our documentation process with them, which we have no problem with. We love that process because we don't need to have someone on site. We're already on site, so we can be their eyes and ears. Once again, being the intermediary between the customer and the adjuster or the insurance company. That's extremely important. Or the other thing that the insurance companies are going to, because there are a reduced amount of adjusters, there are also third-party adjusters. Okay, these people don't work for the insurance company that you have your insurance with. They have another business, and your insurance company just subcontracts to this third-party adjuster. So dealing with the adjuster is an extremely important portion of the claims process. But we've gone through, we've looked at all the claim data, we've looked at all the info, and now we're to the point where we're going to create our estimate. Now, our estimate, for the most part, with a larger claim is twofold, potentially three or fourfold. Okay, the reason for that is segmentation of the project. Okay, so the first segment of the project is probably your contents. Now, that's everything inside the home. That's your couches and your pictures and your clothes and all of those things. We say if we could take the roof off your house and turn it upside down, anything that fell out is contents. Okay, so that's first and foremost. We're going to take all of your contents most of the time off site into our climate controlled facility, clean them, and store them during the construction and cleaning portion of your project so they aren't in the way, getting disturbed, getting dirty again, so we have to clean them, that sort of thing. Plus, we have to use specific pieces with fumigation or ozone, things like that, that we have chambers set up in our climate controlled facility in order to do that. Okay, so that's the first portion, contents. Then we'll write a separate estimate for cleaning and demo. We call that portion remediation. Now, it's just a long word for cleaning and demo, is really what it comes down to. So if we can clean the drywall, things like that in place without having to demo anything out, that's what we do. Our job as the intermediary for the customer and the insurance company is doing the process as least invasive as possible. Now, that may be a check system where we do the least invasive process, and if that doesn't work, because we don't really know until we actually get scrubbing and get cleaning on the product. So let's assume that we're going to try to write to just clean all walls, ceilings, floors. Some areas are too dark and too damaged for that process. Then we document that we've tried X, Y, and Z. This did not take to the level to get back to like, kind, and quality, because that is our standard. When you get it back, it is as was prior to loss or better. It's either prior to loss or it's new. There really is no in between for us, because the standard has to be you are happy with the project after we are done. So that is a give and take. So we'd write for the remediation, the cleaning and demo, and then we write for the reconstruction. So that's 3 portions in this one claim. Now, the reconstruction would just be anything that we could not clean. But even when cleaning is available and a process that we can use, a lot of times there's paint and things like that needs to be done as well. So that would be part of the reconstruction. Now, when it comes to the estimating process, we use the exact same estimating software that the insurance company uses. That's extremely important, because when we use this software, it's dictated by our region and a date. Our estimating software updates our pricing for this region. I mean, it's specific to Sioux Falls, South Dakota this month. And then once we get that, we have standardized pricing that the insurance company will pay on each item. And when I say each item, it's extremely detailed. It is down to cleaning of a knob on a door. I mean, that's how detailed we get. So once we write these detailed estimates, we send them off to the adjuster. The adjuster a lot of times is either writing their own estimates so we have something to compare to, or they're going to wait for our estimate and then they're going to redline our estimate or write their own estimate off of our estimate, so we have apples to apples to compare to. We will work with the adjuster, and the adjuster will give us kind of a go-ahead. Guys, start the remediation process. So once we get an agreed to price, then you'll be able to start the reconstruction, and it's seamless. All of those things are extremely important to getting you back in your home or your business as quick as possible. So speed in our business is extremely important. They say that on a water loss as well. Speed is extremely important on the insurance company side, and that's why they dictate you start cleaning, drying immediately Your adjuster does not need to be on site. With fire and with smoke, it's a little bit different because there may need to be a cause and origin person, someone telling us what the cause of the fire was to make sure there was no arson or anything that happened that was malicious during the claim. Now, if that's the case, we can't touch anything because that changes the cause and origin adjuster's process. So nothing can be touched until that person comes through, their report is back. Now, also, anything pre-1978, we need to make sure that we're lead testing and asbestos testing. Now, the beauty is that we are certified in all things that are remediation. So asbestos and lead are no problem for us. We can do all of this in-house. It's extremely important that you're working with a company like Crew that knows the process and can do everything in-house, because that's how we get speed to getting you back into your property. The other problem is working with other remediation companies. Most of them don't do the reconstruction or don't do it very well. So if they don't do the reconstruction very well, if the claim gets to a certain point, they're either going to remediate, which, as I said, is the cleaning and the demo portion, and then they're going to be out of your claim. So our full-time job is getting you back in your home and making sure that you and we're getting paid for the claim. So we take care of all the phone calls, all the follow-ups. You don't have to make any phone calls, just one phone call to Crew Restoration and Construction. We are the crew that cares.